Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Jason Show. We are live on this Thursday, July 16th, 2020. I'm Jace. Thank you so much for being here. Hello to Coon Rapids and Plymouth and Eden Prairie and Edina and West St. Paul. Give me one more, Jeff. Duluth. Hello, Duluth. And let's go down to Rochester. Good morning. Thank you for being here. Again, we are live. I need to say that a couple times because we had a delightful woman call in yesterday. I love her. I wish I would have known her name. We just got back being live this week, by the way. We're on the air. I mean, we are literally doing the show as we are right now. And a woman called into the Fox 9 newsroom, and she was so funny. She goes, hello, when is the Jason Show going to be live again? And our boss, Kelly Huffman, said, well, actually, they're live right now. And she goes like this, okay, I got to go. And she hung up the phone and ran. So if you're watching, sweetheart, welcome back. We are live. Please help us give a warm welcome to my sister soldier sidekick. It's Miss Kendall. Good morning, Kendall.
Good morning, Jason and fake studio audience. Appreciate it. That's so sweet that she called and then was like, gotta go watch.
I gotta go watch. No, it's great. I love that people make us part of their routine in the morning. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well today. I'm really excited about one of our stories we're going to talk about.
Okay.
But you kind of already talked about with the Golden Girls.
Oh, the Golden Girls house. Oh, yeah. We'll get to that a little bit later. Plus, we have Erin Meyer on the show today. Erin Meyer is, without a doubt, if you just look at the data, if you look at poll numbers, she is we do polls on our guests. She is one of our most popular guests from Lemons, Lavender, and Laundry, and she has the best tips, Kendall. I almost called you Aaron and Kelsey before I got to Kendall. But anyway, she has the tips that are the most popular on her blog that's coming up. But first, Kendall, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it just me, or Lord knows right now in the world there's a ton of stuff going on, like huge, big issues. But it's the small stuff that we just want to complain about. And I figured out why a couple days ago. And here's why. Because we have no control over most things right now. We have, the coronavirus. I just heard that this rabbit had some sort of plague hopping around a forest. Then we had murder hornets. 2020 bingo. My card is almost full. The Lincoln Tunnel was filling up with water this morning. My point being, we can't control any of this, so all we want to do is control the small things in our lives, like a cup of coffee. Now, watch Kendall's face. She's going to judge me here. I admit, know thyself, that I am high maintenance when I'm sorry, did the staff have a coughing fit? I don't know why that caused everyone to cough, everybody. Anyway, I'm a little high maintenance when it comes to my... Kendall, I can see you, Kendall. I can see you rolling your eyes. Anyway... I'm high maintenance.
Yes, but you can't strangle me.
That's very true. So at Starbucks, now hang with me, audience, hang with me. A little slice of heaven in my life is one of their fairly new beverages, and it's called the Salted Cream Cold Foam Cold Brew. And it's a beverage that has a cold brew coffee with a couple pumps of flavor, and then on top is this delightful cold foam. And here's what makes this drink the best drink Starbucks has ever created, because it's not too sweet. It just has a hint of caramel. But here's the rub. Here's the problem. Here's the hiccup in my giddy-up. And I'm not alone, because I heard from people yesterday. It is the most inconsistently made drink ever on Starbucks' menu. I get it one time and it's great, and the next time it tastes like rutabaga. And it's just not. So yesterday Kendall, here we go. I talked to an expert barista that's been with the company for 10 years. Here's how you order it. So if you want to order it, this is what you say. I would like, oh, hello, Starbucks. I would like a venti, salted cream, cold foam, cold brew. And I would like the foam blended on number 4.
That was 12 words, Jason.
Okay. Can we get the audience back? I don't know. The crew is just laughing. Thank you. There's a setting on the Starbucks
How did you remember
blenders.
that? Did you write that down?
Yeah, I did. There's a setting on the Starbucks blender, and number 4 makes the foam the thickest. So that's what you have to say to the baristas. There we go. Consumer alert, everybody.
Okay.
Let's get started. It's time for the hot dish. Here we go. Now, you know what's going to happen right now? I'm going to get a ton of emails from baristas that are going to be very mad at me because now people are going to be driving them nuts. Can I get the number 4? Let's start off. The new smartphone-only streaming service Quibi is off to a rough start. Yeah. But can Andy Cohen give it some new life? His new animated series drops in a few days, and here's a look at the trailer for the Andy Cohen Diaries.
I'm Andy Cohen, and these are real stories from my diaries. After 10 years of hosting a talk show, I feel like my audience and I are connected besties. And now I'm doing the one thing I've been told not to: share all of my super confidential stories. Get up close and way too personal. With appearances by Celine Dion, George R.R. Martin, multiple housewives, the Kardashians, and Sarah Jessica Parker drinking Cosmos, which makes every gay bone in my body tingle.
Okay. Andy is dishing on all of his celebrity friends in the 6-episode series, and it debuts July 20th on Quibi, if Quibi is still around on July 20th. Here's my problem with this, and I love Andy. Full disclosure, you guys know Andy's been on our I enjoy him, but Andy has watched What Happens Live. He's written these books. And the truth of the matter is, Andy isn't really going to spill the real dish in this show. You know why? Because he doesn't want to upset these people that will never be guests on his show again. And I get that. I mean, you got to be, these are fragile egos you're dealing with. And plus, I don't know. He tells everything anyway on Watch What Happens Live. Do we need this? Kendall, are you going to watch this?
Well, it's a good hook. I mean, if people believe it, that's a good hook to get them on with. But I agree. I don't think that he's really going to spill the tea. However, I see what they're doing. I think right now, Quibi really marketed a lot of its stuff towards a slightly younger generation. And now with Andy, it'd be more like, hey, these are people who are in their 40s might be interested in Quibi now. Like, they're really just trying to get new people to watch their platform.
Quibi's biggest problem was, and like Disney Plus had The Mandalorian, HBO Max has all the HBO content, Hulu has The Handmaid's Tale. The problem with Quibi is what they should have done is they should have purchased a property that fans already had an attachment to that could have anchored their platform to bring people to it. Then you create other original shows around that one big show to get people enticed. They have nothing that anybody wants to watch. They should have I don't know what intellectual property they could have purchased. Mickey Mouse owns everything, but they should have purchased something big, brought everybody to the yard, and then said, hey, while you're here watching this show you love, here are some new shows like an animated Andy Cohen, which, is it really a cartoon? I don't know. Next in the dish, Colin Jost is making the rounds to promote his new book. We talked with Howard Stern, Baba Booey, about when he got the Weekend Update job on SNL, and almost immediately, people were calling for him to be fired. Look at this.
Deep, like anxiety, like drinking before shows, like, because I felt like I was losing my whole identity, like my whole identity that I had built up for whatever it was, 10 years at the show. I thought I was going to lose everything and then just be done. And all my best friends were there at the show. And then suddenly people aren't talking to you.
Is that really true? People stop talking to you because they
in that show business way, yes. Like people that you used to just you saw like a look from them in the hallway where you were like, like this is not, people I worked with recommended people to replace me to me.
Wow. I mean, but
hey, Jason, who'd be a great replacement for you on the Jason Show, Jeff. Yeah. Another thing that he talked about, again, here's another example, 80th time I've said it. I kind of thought Colin was kind of a bro, but I walked out of the interview really liking him. Another thing that he talked about was his mother, who was a 9/11 first responder. She is the one she's a nurse or doctor. She checks all of the firefighters in New York City. She's the one that gives them the A-OK to join the fire department. He talked about his fiancée, Scarlett Johansson, and how he really struggled with how to keep his own identity while dating someone as big as Scarlett Johansson, which is a struggle. Colin anchors alongside Michael Che. He says a turning point came when Bill Murray encouraged the two of them and said they had something together as a unit. They just needed to keep working on it. Kendall, do you like the Colin Jost?
I do. Well, I specifically like he and Michael Che together. I think the Weekend Update, their banter is great. I think they've got great chemistry.
You know, at first I didn't like them. I was like, this is odd. I was like, I didn't. They weren't gelling. But again, any team takes a while to gel. You know, Kendall and I still don't get along after all these years, right, Kendall?
Never.
Not
at all.
Especially not today. Still ahead, we have a best thing ever and a worst thing ever. Plus, lots of drama in LA and the man who is getting all the dirt. I'm going to tell you, Dax Holt is making international news this week. You'll find out why in just a little bit. And then Erin Meyer from Lemons, Lavender, and Laundry gives us her top 5 most popular cleaning hacks. Cue the fake Sheila Oliver applause. We're going to take a break. The Jason Show continues right after this, everyone.
You are a single, eligible bachelor. What would it take for you to date during COVID?
To date, right now, man, you would have to have like test results. I'm really good at picking out who's been like really wild and who's like actually been quarantining. Because I'm like I was here when it was a hot spot, when New York was a hot spot. I'm a ninja with the quarantine. I'm cold-blooded with it, man. Like I dodge Rona. So I can ask, and how you ask, you don't ask straight out because people will lie. You just get them real comfortable. You just ask yourself like, man, it's crazy. It's this quarantine thing driving me crazy. I would just love to kick it with like some people at like a little party. You know what I mean? Just like on the low, just so and then they'll say something. This happened. She was like, yeah, oh, you should have been with us last weekend. We went to this cabin, but don't tell anybody. I'm like, I won't. And I'll see you in 2021. You reckless. You dirty. Ew, you dirty. I knew you was outside.
So it's your own sting operation.
Yes, it is.
Is Cohen doing a show from a closet? What is it? Anyway, welcome back. SNL cast member Chris Redd on Conan last night. Chris has raised, listen to this, $360,000 for those on the front lines fighting for justice and inequality. That deserves a fake applause right there, Jeff. Roll that right there, yeah. Well, more hot dish this morning, and for that, we go, and I haven't been able to say this in 4 months, we go to our insider to the stars. Joining us, that's right, joining us via Zoom from his extra bedroom, from the Hollywood Raw podcast, please welcome Dax Holt. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Well, good. Let me start with a compliment. You're all over the place. Your podcast getting all sorts of buzz. You talked with one of the women of the Real Housewives of New York. And Dax, it's funny. I just changed how I felt about her. I wasn't sure, and now I love her. So please tell me she's as cool as I want her to be.
She was awesome. So Leah McSweeney was on our podcast. Like you said, she's from the Real Housewives of New York. This was her rookie season coming on the show. And so, you know, when you come on the show, you either have to make a bang or you kind of like will disappear off this show. And she definitely made an appearance. She was kind of like the crazy wild girl. She's admitted she's had struggles with her relationship with booze. And she definitely showed that during one of the trips on the show. But she kind of really got into it with Ramona, the other cast member on the show, you know, kind of OG cast member, Ramona. And afterwards, she comes on our podcast and we start asking her about this feud that she's had with Ramona, because she said that Ramona tried to get her fired off the show, like secretly after the show ended or after they stopped filming. She went and tried to get her fired. And so we asked her about this and she goes, nope, I have not talked to Ramona since all this went down. She's like, I am saving it. I have it pent up for the reunion. She goes, I am not going to let her get away with this. You could try to get me fired, but you're going to have to face it in front of cameras. And then she goes on to say that she's already calculated if she will be on her period during the reunion show or not. She said, I actually won't, which is a good thing because I turn into an evil beast. But she goes, so that might be a good thing for Ramona, but might be a really bad thing for the audience because I bet it would have been a lot more entertaining if it had coincided correctly.
I'll spill some tea here, plus ask you a question. All your years at TMZ, you're just in the business. I don't know if you've heard or experienced the same thing, but I have an executive producer who we both know, I won't name names, Haley Hurst, who had a horrible run-in with Ramona and has basically banned Ramona from her show because of how poorly Ramona treated the crew and everyone on set. She doesn't have a great reputation.
No, not at all. It's not the first story I've heard of Ramona, but at the same note, I think that's why they keep her on The Housewives.
Without a
She's
doubt.
Drama.
Without a doubt. Okay, next up, you talked with, speaking of reality shows, one of the women recently fired from Vanderpump Rules. What happened?
Yeah, so we got Kristen Doty on, and like you said, she was one of the Vanderpump Rules girls, one of the two that got fired, her and Stassi. And then at that same time, Max Boynes and Brett Cipriani also got fired from the shows. It was a huge deal. The two guys had some racist tweets from years back that got uncovered, so they were let go. But Stassi and Kristen were wrapped up in this thing where one of their former castmates, Faith Stowers, had come forward on an IG Live and said, look, these two girls, they had seen an article on the Daily Mail a while back which showed a black woman who was shoplifting and doing burglaries and all kinds of stuff. And so she said she accused them of falsely reporting her to the cops, accusing her of doing those crimes. And so people heard about this, and Bravo cut both of them immediately. So we got Kristen. This was the first time she has spoken about it. It's been about a month and a half since they let her go, and she broke her silence on our podcast. And she admitted, there's been a lot of crying. There's been a lot of booze and drinking over the last little bit. But at the end of the day, she realizes that the world is much bigger than just her and a job that was lost. She then went on to say that, we asked her about Bravo. How did they let her know that she was fired? And she said, you know what? Honestly, if it had been 5 minutes later, I would have read about it in the papers. So clearly she insinuated to us that they leaked it out before even letting her know that that she was fired. And she said, yeah, I found out from my lawyer. Next thing I know, it was everywhere. What else did she say? She said that
did she show any contrition? Like, did she show any remorse or even understanding
absolutely.
of why?
Oh, absolutely. The whole time, we kept asking her, what have you learned? How are you going to do better? And she said, the big thing I learned was to shut up and listen. Yeah. She said, out of all of it, I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs, no, listen to me, listen to my reality. Listen, I couldn't understand why people had a perception of me that I didn't have of myself. And she said, so I started talking to all my friends, including my black friends. And she said, I got to a point where they just told me, Kristen, you just need to stop and listen to what people have to say. And she goes, and I did. And I've been watching TED Talks and reading books and having conversations. And she said that, her life is in a very different place right now. And she hopes that one day she can either be on TV again or have a platform. Her thing was that we said, do you think it was warranted your firing? And she said, I think Bravo should have used this as a learning example. She said, film all of this, show this unconscious bias, and educate people rather than just be cancel culture and fire someone. She's like, this could have been a big learning moment.
It could have been. Well, you could hear all of it on Dax's podcast. Again, you saw the headlines. It made news all around the world. Congrats on the get, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Listen to his podcast by searching for Hollywood Raw wherever you get your podcasts. And follow Dax on social media. Dax Holt. Cue the applause. More dish for you now. She is part of Minnesota history, and soon we'll learn more about Laura Ingalls Wilder thanks to a new documentary on PBS. Well, it's been nearly, think about this, 46 years since this open ran on NBC. Little House on the Prairie premiered on NBC around 46 years ago. Melissa Gilbert, who played Laura Ingalls, was profiled. Here she, don't fall, girl. was profiled on CBS Sunday Morning earlier this week. I should actually recreate this opening title sequence, yeah. She talked about why the show's reruns are gaining popularity again during the pandemic. Listen.
Little House on the Prairie then provided people with a reminder of what we went through when we started this country and how difficult that was. And I think we're at that place again. If we could have done what we did in the 1800s and the 1970s, we can do this. The keys are going to be compassion, community, faith, whatever that faith looks like, love. That's it. That's all that matters.
The show, if you watched, you know this, dealt with familiar themes, which is really funny. I mean, it's really ironic that we're still dealing with some of the same themes that we dealt back in the 80s and when the show was set itself, like plague, quarantine, and race relations. There's actually, speaking of race relations, in this story, and I encourage you to look at the full story on their YouTube page, there's a great clip from a young Todd Bridges, who played Willis in Different Strokes, and he guest starred on this. Right there. There's the clip right there. Powerful moment between that young actor and Michael Landon. Well, Melissa, speaking of Michael, shared a great story about working with her TV dad, the late, great Michael Landon. Listen to this.
Only one time did I not know my lines, and it only happened once. I kept forgetting and Michael finally cut, and he said, "You don't know your lines, do you?" And I just started crying, and so I'm sorry. So he cleared the set, he made everybody go away.
You just burst into tears.
Just burst into tears, because I was busted. And he said, just calm down, we're going to do this, you're going to learn your lines. And we did it, and we did it, and we did it. And I finally got it, and I was ready. And I said, thank you so much, and I gave him a hug, and he said, you're so welcome. And then he got down right in front of me, and he said, and that is never happening again, is it?
Great lesson. That, seriously, you know, and that's, and she said a little bit later, she said, all of the values started and ended with Michael Landon, because for those of you who don't know, not only was Michael the star, but he executive produced it, he wrote it, he directed, he everything did, as we say. And another little fun fact, Little House on the Prairie has been on TV ever since 1974. Just think about that. It has never gone off the air since the year I was born. That's crazy to think about. Kendall, are you a fan of the Little House on the Prairie?
I did watch it when I was a kid. Yes, I really liked it back then, and clearly some serious life lessons that we're still learning from it. So.
A lot, yeah. And then there's that scary mime episode, too, that we won't talk about. Well, Kendall mentioned this a few minutes ago. Fans of the Golden Girls, get your checkbook out. This is going to be more expensive than a cheesecake, I tell you, because Blanche's house, and I'm not joking, is on the market. The home that served as the exterior for Blanche's house in season 1 is now for sale. Take a look at this, everybody. This is what the house looks like now. It's gorgeous. Now, while the series is based in Miami, the house is actually in the neighborhood of Brentwood in L.A. The home has 4 bedrooms and is around 3,000 square feet. The insides never appeared on air, and it can be yours for $3 million. $3 million. And that's usually the case, you know, whether it's the Brady Bunch house or this house or the Happy Days house, the Desperate Housewives houses, they use one exterior for the outside shots, and then the inside never matches the inside, the outside. You can never fit the set inside the house that you see on the outside. Kendall, should we join together and maybe open a bed and breakfast at 1.5, 1.5?
I think we can do it as long as we can keep the kitchen, because people need to look this thing up. The kitchen is yellow and turquoise and avocado colors, and it's fabulous.
It's fabulous. I'm actually going to text our general manager right now and ask her for a small loan. There we go. Dear Sheila, may I have a loan? Love, Jason. There we go. Still ahead, everybody. She's one of our most popular guests, Erin Meyer from Lemons, Lavender, and Laundry. She returns with some of her best cleaning hacks, but next, I have a best thing ever, and I have a worst thing ever. What am I loving, and what am I absolutely hating this week? That's next. We'll be right back. Welcome back on this Thursday. We are live. It's good to be back live with y'all. By the way, I just got a text message from The general manager, she is not going to approve my loan. So I don't know. Oh, well. You don't need to clap for that. The Sheila Oliver fake applause. Well, people are always asking me for suggestions on what shows to watch. So get ready because I'm about to reveal my latest best thing ever, everybody. Thank you. It is a new documentary on Netflix, and I have to actually credit my good friend Alexis Thompson. She told me about this. It's on Netflix, and it's about someone you may not have heard of, maybe, unless you grew up in Puerto Rico. Mucho, Mucho Amor is about the legendary astrologer Walter Mercado. Look at this.
Okay, I'm ready.
El señor Walter Mercado.
Walter Mercado.
Walter Mercado.
Que ha salido para ti, Acuario, nada menos que la fortaleza, porque tú estás fuerte ahora, ¿eh?
We grew up with him. I can't think of an English language astrologer that would command the attention of millions of households.
Escorpio, te pones ahora insistente.
Some people who speak English do not understand how loved you are in the Spanish community.
He's very much his own incredible creation.
He's an androgen. He looks like a woman. Sometimes he looks like a man.
He was like one of the biggest characters, yeah. Not just with Spanish TV, anywhere.
But all of a sudden, he disappeared.
And why he disappeared is part of what you will discover when you watch Mucho, Mucho Amor. The film chronicles Mercado's rise to stardom and disappearance at the height of his fame, and it currently has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I honestly can't recommend it enough. Admittedly, I didn't know a lot about Walter Mercado. I recognized him as a figure in popular culture. I had seen him on Sally Jesse Raphael and Regis and Kathy Lee, but I didn't know a lot. And I am so grateful to have watched this because this is an eye-opening look at such a huge figure in Latin culture. You saw Lin-Manuel Miranda right there. He kind of bookends the documentary, talking about what he meant to him. And I related to this, even though Walter doesn't mean the same to me. Anybody out there that's like me and Lin-Manuel who loved their grandmother, what I mean by that is Lin-Manuel Miranda's grandmother used to, shh, Walter's on. Just like my grandmother used to do that with game shows in Dallas with me. So I really connected in that way. Plus, to find out what he meant to the LGBT community in Latin culture. Because he never really talked about his sexuality, but he really opened the way for so many young people, and especially LGBTQ little individuals in Latin culture, that it really struck a chord with me as well. And you find out the business aspect of it, which I don't want to reveal the whole thing. I want it to kind of unfold for you, but it really breaks my heart. It will break your heart when you see why he disappeared. And then there's a little bit of redemption, and there's a little bit of a resurgence that you will see at the end of it. It is fantastic if you're looking for something to watch. It's easily digestible. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. I absolutely loved it. Mucho, Mucho Amor is my latest best thing ever. Well, now I want to take time to talk about a Netflix show that could be the worst thing ever. It's a new show featuring actor Zac Efron. Look at this.
I'm so happy that I'm eating carbs again.
Wow, look at that.
It's also a pesticide.
We need to start rethinking how we consume everything, from our food to our power.
Whoa, look at that.
That's Mother Earth.
Dude.
That's some power.
Change has to start somewhere. Maybe it's time we all change.
Do I have a safe word?
What are we getting ourselves into?
What, as a viewer, were we getting ourselves into? It's called Down to Earth, but really it should be called Dudes Down to Earth. It features Zac Efron traveling the world looking for bros and eco-friendly ways to live. Now, Kendall watched it as well, and I don't know about you, but I will just be blunt, just to save some words and save time. This is ridiculous. It is a worthy cause. I'm all about Mother Earth. Let's save some dolphins. Let's save some mountains. Let's recycle. But having Zac Efron tell me all this stuff, my thought was, why him? There are far better documentaries. You truly have to really love Zac Efron to love this series. Kendall, what did you think?
I absolutely agree in the idea of, I loved the idea of this.
Fantastic.
We overconsume things. How can we do it better? How can we be better people? And the cinematography is really beautiful, especially in that first episode of Iceland. I agree. All of a sudden it went on these weird turns. Like, oh, now we're going to go in these hot tubs. Hey, bro, what's up? And here's sponsored by Hilton. And it just became so disorienting. It was like, who's putting this together? Who's in charge? Because whoever is, you need to get it together. It just didn't flow right. There was no pre-conceptualizing this, I think, if that makes sense.
Here's something I never want to hear in a nature documentary. Rad. There we go. Thank you, Kendall. You can watch Down to Earth on Netflix. Still ahead, confined to your house still? Well, Erin Meyer from Lemons, Lavender, and Laundry has some of her top cleaning hacks when we return. Right after this, everyone. Bro. Let's go to commercial, bro. Welcome back to the show, everyone. From the oven door to a porcelain sink, odds are we all have those things in our home. We've tried to clean and clean and clean, but nothing seems to work. Well, today you're in luck. Joining us live to talk about the 5 most popular cleaning hacks on her very popular blog is our very popular friend from Lemons, lavenderandlaundry.com, the great Erin Meyer. Good morning, Erin.
Good morning.
It is good to see you again. And I love that you have curated the biggest and the best tips, the most clicked on ones. And we're going to start with number 5, removing hard water stains. What do you need for this?
So all you need is paper towels and vinegar. That's it. So you just basically soak your paper towels in vinegar, wrap them wherever you see those hard water stains or the mineral deposits, and then let it sit there for about an hour, and it'll soften all of that up, and you can easily remove them just with like a wet washcloth. I do caution, always test these things on your fixtures first, like in a small spot, because vinegar is pretty acidic. So some fixtures will hold up better than others. So just spot check before you do it, but I've done it on many different things and it's worked well every time.
Okay, the process seems pretty easy. So we have some before and afters. What are we looking at here, Erin?
Okay, so this was a faucet in my kitchen.
Wow.
And we had, I think there was maybe a little leaking in there because it's pretty bad. And then just after applying that vinegar for an hour, I was able to remove like all of those mineral deposits, all that hard water stuff. And it really worked well. I used a little toothpick in between the crevices there and got it all out. So,
Erin, you know what I do when I go to people's houses and they have the hard water stains on the shower head, you know, when it's blocking the water? I become obsessed and I sit there and I chip away at all the hard water stain. Yeah, I do. It's a weird thing. Yeah, I'm like, I want a nice shower. I know. Don't ever invite me to your house. Anyway, clean.
I've heard that it works well on shower heads too. If you get like a bag and you wrap it around, it'll take it off as well.
It chips,
so.
Yeah. Then I don't need to do that when I come over. Cleaning your oven door. How about this? What do we do?
Oh, all right. So this is just baking soda and water. You really need to apply a very generous amount of baking soda because you're kind of forming a paste. So your oven door is pretty large.
Yeah.
So you have to think of it in terms of, you're covering that whole door with kind of this paste. But you put on all this baking soda. You can either just really wet down a scour pad or you can spray on some with a spray bottle. And it really is just kind of forms a paste. And you'll notice your baking soda really takes off all that gunk. I don't know. It is like a magical thing, baking powder. And I don't know, but it just takes all the grime and grease and everything off of that oven.
So baking soda, scour pad, make sure it's thick, scrub. There's the before and after. Well, that's obvious. I mean, look at the benefit of that. That's incredible.
It went from like the grossest oven door ever. That's like one of those embarrassing pictures of my oven door to really like a mirror shine. I will say it takes a little elbow grease. Like you got to kind of scrub, but it really does come off. It's an all natural way to do it. And I mean, baking soda is so cheap. You can buy a box for 89 cents or something. So.
I was just going to say some of those oven cleaners are real pricey. So this is not only is it easy and it's effective, but it'll save you some money.
Yes. And it's all natural. I mean, there's no fumes or anything like that with it. So
perfect.
Works well.
Erin isn't going anywhere. When we come back, the top 3 cleaning tips from her blog, The Top 3, lemonslavenderandlaundry.com. Stay right there. We'll be back after these words. Welcome back to the show. Hanging out with our good friend, Erin Meyer. We're helping you clean the house, clean those annoying areas in your house today. Erin Meyer from Lemons, Lavender, and Laundry is sharing her top 5 most popular cleaning hacks, and she's back with us. Erin, before we get to the top 3, last time you were on the show, we were talking about how, one of the positive things about the quarantine is we're doing 8,000 projects. Have you done any more projects around the house?
You know what? We have not, because we actually went out west. Our family has a goal right now of hitting all 50 states before my daughter graduates from college. So we were gone for a while. And now we, on that trip though, we talked about, we've got some pine paneling down in our basement that we're going to be working on redoing that whole room. So that'll be our next project, I think.
What's been your favorite state so far? First of all, I love that you did that. What state are you loving?
So our rule is you have to do something in the state for it to count. Man, it has been so fun to do this. We just went to Wyoming. It was beautiful. Like, we went to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons, and it was gorgeous. So that was my favorite one, at least from the trip we just took.
I love that. That's a good idea. Okay, let's go to number 3, top cleaning tips from Erin Meyer. I feel like I'm Letterman reading the top 10 list from the home office in Sioux City, Iowa. Okay, cleaning your porcelain sink. What do we need?
All right, all you need is that good old baking soda again and hydrogen peroxide. Literally, you're gonna wet down your sink, not standing water, wet it down, sprinkle in some baking soda, take a sponge, lightly rub it around. It doesn't take a lot. And the baking soda will take out all those kind of stains. And then, I don't know, you just add a little hydrogen peroxide to your sponge, wipe that around. I promise it looks like a new sink. It really does. I've had people tell me they were about to buy a new sink. They tried this and it completely cleaned their sink, and they decided not to buy a new one.
We're looking at it. You're absolutely right. Wow, it's
like a bright white too. It's not just like a dull white, like, oh, it didn't really get clean. Like, it works so well.
So again, guys, everybody, hydrogen peroxide, baking soda, and a sponge, and that is it. That's it. Okay, number 2, cleaning your microfiber couch. And this is endorsed, by the way, Erin. I know, the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. This is like this, but better. Executive producer Jeff Orcutt gives this one his stamp of approval, Erin.
Perfect. So microfiber is like supposed to be this great fabric for keeping everything like easy care, but for some reason it just picks up a lot of stains from even water. And so I used to always do it with rubbing alcohol. I still do that because that removes kind of the dirt. You basically spray on some rubbing alcohol. You're going to use a sponge and you'll notice the dirt coming out. But the water stains that sometimes get left behind, all you need to do is grab some distilled water in another spray bottle after you've done the alcohol. Let that dry, then do your distilled water, and that pulls all the water stains out. And it's awesome. And then once it's dry, you can take like a soft bristle brush and kind of go over it to loosen the fibers a little bit. Again, read the directions for your microfiber. Some of them recommend not using water. So you kind of have to, again, spot check. That's what I always say, just spot check.
That is amazing. Just a little, and you wouldn't think, Erin, to use alcohol. I would be afraid to, but it works.
My daughter one time, a neon pink pen exploded on our microfiber couch, and the alcohol took all the ink out.
That's crazy.
So it does really work really well for cleaning.
Okay, drum roll, Jeff. Do a drum roll, please. There we go. Or that, yeah. It's the quarantine, Erin. We're doing the best we can. The number 1 tip, cleaning dust off lampshades. What do we need?
Okay, so if you have fabric lampshades, you will know. I always have people comment on this post. It's my number 1 top viewed post. They always say, well, just grab a vacuum. If you have fabric lampshades, the vacuum does not suck off the dust. Then they'll tell me, grab a wet sponge. Well, that just smears it around. What you need is a lint brush. And all you do is just rub it on the lampshades, and all that dust comes off. It's the simplest thing ever.
Are you serious? That's all? This is what we've needed all of these years?
A lampshade or a lint brush. Yes, that's all you need. You don't need to even pull out your vacuum. You don't need to smear it around with water and soap. You just need a lint brush.
Okay, I can see why this is the number one item on your, because you know what it is, Aaron? Because it's so simple that you wouldn't think it's the right answer.
Yes, that's what I think. I think the things that make these so popular is, first off, most of us have those items in our house already, and they're so easy to do, and they actually work and are effective.
Yeah, Jeff is walking proof over there. They all work. Aaron Meyer, thank you, my dear friend. For all of Aaron's cleaning hacks as well as DIY tips, check out our website, lemonslavenderandlaundry.com. It's great. And if you missed the segment, don't worry. We'll post it a little bit later on our Facebook page. We're going to take a small break. We'll be back right after this. Good tips, bro. Welcome back. Even though it's in the middle of the summer and this is kind of an odd season for us, we are looking forward to a brand new season coming up in September probably. We can't say much, but you know me, I'm very excited. I'm like a kid or somebody that buys a gift and can't wait to give it to the person. So I will tell you, we are working on some fabulous things for the new season. We have new opens and a new theme, and all of that is finally coming. And thanks to the great work by our creative service department, we got to look at some of the stuff. You're going to love it. Capital L, love it. So that's going to be coming up probably after August. I almost said after the fair. But no, that won't be happening. No fair. It'll be happening in September after the virtual fair. You can stay connected with our show on social media. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for Jason Show TV. And again, because we don't have a studio audience, we are really wanting to connect with you on our social media. If you have something to say, you want to give a shout out, you have a special occasion, make a little video and post it on our social media. And who knows, it could end up right here on the show. Go get another cup of coffee. We're going to wrap things up with Kendall when we come back. Back after this. And welcome back. Kendall joins me again as we wrap up our show. Hello again, Kendall.
Hello again, Jason. Do you want to know what I was doing while you were doing your interview with Aaron?
Well, let me guess. You were removing hard water stains from your couch.
You know, that's on my list of things to do, but I was playing with my dog Harvey, and let me just tell you, the one perk of working from home with all the chaos that it involves is like, in my little 5 minutes of getting to play with my dog is the best thing ever. Is it not? I mean, for anyone at home, isn't that like...
Yeah, I think Dexter and Mr. Big kind of got sick of me being home. I mean, I got a couple looks from Dexter like, are you going to be here now all the time? Or is the dog, is he right there?
Right.
Is he right there? Why don't you pick him up? Is he right there?
No, she's out. I don't let them come in here when I'm on air because you never know when they'll start barking at something. Yes, she's a complex.
That's what live TV is all about. I mean, it's just, yeah. Well, bring them in here. We have a minute. Go get her.
You want me to go all the way over there and go get her and come back and just leave? I can't. I don't have normal pants on. I have pajama bottoms on, Jason. Now I have to tell everyone.
Oh, now we really want you to go do it. You're wearing pajama bottoms?
Well, I'm wearing like stretch legging pants, and no, I'm not getting up.
Oh, God. I love it.
I'm wearing slippers.
You're wearing...
Slippers?
What are those? Wait. No. Put those back up. What are those? Show me your slippers.
They're my slippers.
Okay. How fancy are those? They look
I can't believe this is happening right now.
You can? How long have you known me? Come on. You know me. Anyway, you are red. You are as red as your lipstick. Look at that. Oh, I have accomplished something today. Okay. Well,
yeah.
We're going to let you go, Kendall, so you can just get right back into your pajamas. Bye. Thank you. Tomorrow on the show, wine diva Leslie Miller joins us with her top picks for summer wines. Plus, Pierre Paul will be joining us again. He was one of our most popular guests during our home shows. He will be back with us live tomorrow. That's going to do it for us. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. We'll see you back here tomorrow.